Hi there, and thank you for watching this video from soaringme.com. I'm Michael Miller. In this episode, we're going to talk about financial services recruiting, and we have a special guest, Tara Rahman. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Michael, for having me.
Tara has over 15 years in recruiting in banking, financial services, sales, corporate roles, just sort of a overall expert within financial services jobs. So really appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so the first thing I want to tackle is just a better understanding. If somebody is considering, let's say I was just graduating and I was trying to figure out what direction I want to take my career, and I'm thinking finance, I'm thinking banking, I'm thinking financial services. What are my choices? What would I be looking for if I'm considering a career in financial services?
I think at first, financial services is huge. There's a lot of different opportunities under it. So if you're thinking banking, that's one sector. In the banking environment, there's a lot of different roles. There's retail, there's consumer, there's asset management, there's corporate banking, there's business banking. So it all depends really on, what are you looking to do? Are you looking to be a financial analyst working in a bank? Are you looking to be in sales, working in a sales type role? Are you looking to help people out in a capacity of investment? And I think part of choosing that career, I would advise having maybe conversations with people that have particular careers, to just have a conversation with them to see, their pathway, how they got into the position they got into. But I think, most people who go to college sometimes really don't know. And a lot of people that I know always get like a business type of degree, a business in finance, a business in accounting. And then they come out of college, but they really don't know, okay, so what's that next step looks like. A lot of college students does have the opportunity with their College of Business. There are employers, there are career fairs that they can go and talk to the different bank investment companies, all kinds of financial companies that'll come to these career fairs and be able to talk to students about what they do, how to get to where they are based on their degree. That's one advantage. Another advantage when you're young growing up, if you want to go into banking and you want to start off as a customer service, which is basically a teller position, or start off into a personal banking position if you like that sales, to get some experience to see if that's something that you really want to. But at the end of the day, you just have to research and kind of figure out your niche.
So is this something, let's say that I'm finishing up this year, I'm in my senior year, is this something that I could just self-evaluate my personality and one position would be a good fit depending on my personality? Or is this something where I just need to get in the door and then figure it out from there?
I think it's both. I think it's good to do some type of a personality test to kind of analyze where your strengths are, what you like to do. Also, a lot of college students doesn't know this, but there are different programs in the banking field that allows them to train or go into a program. For example, banking, they have banking programs where you can be part of the program and then you work in different sectors of the bank to see where you would be a fit. With certain other investment groups, they may have a program for college students to do some type of a training to be able to get them prepared for that division. So I would say a lot of research coming out, kind of do your due diligence, look at those type of opportunities. There's a lot of internships as well that you can sign up for in your last year of college to kind of feel like where your strengths are. But if you find like, if you, for example, take a position and you feel like, hey, this isn't for me, but maybe I like something else within the company or the corporation you're working with, it's okay to talk to those different bankers or whoever that's in those positions to have those conversations, because it's all about who you know, doing your due diligence and doing the research, and then kind of get that upfront information and then just kind of take that next step.
Okay. So let's move on to sort of the other side of the coin, I think, which is what you recruiters would be looking for, whether it be if I'm a senior in college, or maybe I'm early in my career, maybe I started as a teller and I want to move into financial services, I've decided, or something like that. What is it that you're looking for me to have, either personality or experience?
I mean, I think it's really to be honest with yourself and what you're looking for. For me as a recruiter, I can't speak to a lot of recruiters, but for me, I do get a lot of college students calling me and they really just want to know, how can I be a financial advisor? And, I will, based on different programs that I currently have, based on where I work, I'll let them know about those different programs and see if they're interested. But majority of the time, I think, a lot of college students can get into those entry level type of positions by also reaching out on LinkedIn. If there's a certain company that you're interested, do some research, reach out to the recruiter, reach out to the manager, find out if there's any type of internship or any type of program that they offer, and take advantage of those programs. But it's out there. You just have to know the right tools, and it's all about just doing research and due diligence because it's out there on the career websites of most companies.
Okay. Okay. So let's dive in a little bit more in terms of a candidate that has decided that this is something they at least want to explore. What advice would you give if I'm applying to different jobs
Yeah, if
within
you're
financial
okay, yeah,
services?
that's a great question, Michael. When you're applying to a lot of different jobs, make sure that you understand what you're applying to, understand the company that you're applying to, have a little bit of a knowledge, because if you and when you like your resume should really have an idea of what you're trying to do based on the company or based on the position, because most people are looking for individuals who really want to work for the company. It's not something that you want to try out if you're looking for something really serious. So do your due diligence, like I said, make sure that you do some research about the company, understand a little bit about the position. And if you are in college and you don't have experience, that's okay, because a lot of the college students have taken some leadership. They have done maybe some community activities. They may have worked with different organization. You may have done a presentation or a speech. So use those skills and talk about those skill set and how they apply for that position you're going to, and be confident in your interview and just be yourself. Because if you have that potential and that drive and that passion for the position you're applying, that will come out whether you're talking to the recruiter or the hiring manager. So don't give up.
Okay. Well, you mentioned kind of doing my due diligence if I'm one of these
Mhm.
candidates. I'm just curious, what impression would I give you if you're interviewing me and I don't know what your company really does?
Well, I mean, so I've had those type of interviews, and it's okay if you don't know, but I will pretty much explain to you what our company does. I'll send you some links to review. I'll say, prior to the interview, I would love for you to read through these links, go through the information, and then let's go ahead and set up a time to really talk about the position, and then we can really dig in. I find that helps a lot because I've coming out of college, you really don't know what you want to do. You think you know what you want to do, and so from that experience, I like to really just educate most people that are applying for a position, whether they're out of college or getting back into that workforce. Everybody has a fear, to talk to somebody and then ask for a job, and they really may not know what to do. But I think it goes a long way if you have, recruiters, especially recruiters like myself, that are there to like help educate you and kind of tell you like what we're looking for. And if you take that direction and you come to the table with my actual interview and you tell me a little bit about the company and go into some details on why you would want to work here, and you tell me how your skills fit, I will definitely push you through. I'll give you that chance to put you through to the next step.
Okay, so if it's me and somebody who has researched the company and knows why they're a match for the company, I'm losing
You
out to
are.
that person.
Yeah, you definitely. I
Okay.
mean, because It depends on the position and depending the availability of the position, obviously. But it's a two-way street. I think, you're going to have your candidates that does the research. So my advice is, do your research, know something about any company you're interviewing. I mean, you're getting a phone call there, you might not be expecting that company, and so they might say, hey, do you have a chance to talk about this? I just want to spend 15 minutes. If you don't know anything about the company, ask them to reschedule a time and do some research about the company before you actually talk to that person. Give yourself some time. But if you're randomly just posting for positions and you're not doing your research, you're not reaching out to managers on LinkedIn, you're not trying to talk to the recruiters, you're not going to be seen, you're not going to get hired, you're going to get passed up. And make sure that when you do have that interview, make sure you have questions about the company, about the manager, about their style, because it's a two-way street. It's not just somebody interviewing you. You should also be interviewing the other person to make sure this is a company that you want to work for, that they have the right culture, they have the right training, the right development. Coming out of college, you want to make sure that this company can offer you some development opportunities so you can continue to grow your skills into other departments. So again, just do your due diligence and make sure you're asking the right questions. I think for me, if someone has no questions to really ask, I mean, I worry, because are you really taking the position seriously? You should have questions. But again, it's all about when you're coming out and you're interviewing, you're going to do a lot of different interviews. Go ahead, interview, get that experience, get that fear out. And, but you'll start to develop yourself in a pattern, and you're going to start doing better and answering questions. Because we're all nervous as a recruiter. If I'm on the other side of the chair, I'm nervous too. But if you do your homework and if you have your notes and you have your questions written down and you're able to convey exactly what you want, you will get an opportunity to go on to that next step.
Okay, so that kind of leads me to a certain degree to my next question, which is just mistakes that candidates should avoid that you've seen repeatedly through your career. What are some of those mistakes?
Yeah, so some of the mistakes, again, comes back to, when you interview, make sure you're really dressed professional. Make sure that, again, I go back to, you have to understand a little something about what you're interviewing for.
Financial services is I don't want to say conservative, but it's a very polished industry, is it not?
Yes, I would say not even financial services. I think that, if you portray yourself a certain way, you'll get the job that you portray yourself for. But yes, the financial services is more on the conservative dress professional type. And so, the world is changing, and maybe now it's like business casual when you're, if you're working remote or in the office. But for the interview, don't consider that a business casual, like look and dress your best. Depending on the career you're going for, even if it's an entry level, just do your best, because that's your first opportunity for the manager to see, okay, Mike, if it was you, Michael, just a great way to say Michael is, he's dressed and looks professionally, but more importantly, he's asking the right question. I can see him move up within the company. I can see him go on and do other things, because you want to add value to why you're having an interview. So again, it comes back to making sure that you are adding value to the position that you're going to interview for, almost like you're already in that position. And just kind of see how you can add value to where you're going, or how you can help the organization grow if it's a sales position, or how you can improve customer service, those type of things.
Okay, now you might have some more mistakes to cover, but your answer kind of reminded me, financial services has a reputation of hiring people earlier in their career and promoting them from within.
Yes.
Number one, is that true?
Yes. I've
Yes.
seen, yes, because, I worked in the banking corporate field, and I was a consumer retail recruiter, and I would hire tellers, and I would see them go from personal bankers to licensed personal bankers to either go into being a manager and then maybe going into business banking. So it's all about, asking, what else can I do? What else can I learn? Take advantage of all the development skills.
Okay, so does that mean as a recruiter, you are looking for somebody who wants career advancement, who wants to someday be a manager and beyond?
Yeah, I mean, most company wants to invest in their employees. I mean, they should, right? Because turnover and the cost. I mean, I would think that companies want to make sure that they have somebody that they can invest in that will continue to grow with the company as far as their culture and mindset. And I think it's also a great opportunity to motivate employees to want to go, stay at the company because of those, because they have choices. And they have, managers that are not managing, but developing, and they're actually leading that person to be a better version of themselves by giving them the opportunity and trusting them, to make sure that whatever that they're doing to the best of their abilities. I think a lot of managers that does a lot of micromanaging, and it's kind of stifles behavior, but it's easy to get in a company, but take advantage of everything that's being offered to you, because if you are not raising your hand or having any type of development opportunities, you're not going to grow. And if you're not growing, you may end up not getting anywhere with the company. You might be switching jobs, going to somewhere else. And so it's just a matter, again, each person is different. It's a matter of what that person wants as far as their self-development and career.
Okay. Okay. Well, I didn't mean to throw you off on
Yeah.
the question about mistakes. Were there any other mistakes that people should be wary of?
Yeah, just be careful. Like, with an interview, for example, if the interviewer says, tell me about yourself, that's, tell them about yourself as far as things you have accomplished, be more professional. Try to stay away from personal things,
You
things
don't need
you're,
to know how many cats I have.
yes, you don't need to know how many cats I have or how your dating life is or any of that. Just basically just keep it professional, because again, we the reason for saying, tell me about yourself can also just make you talk about a lot of things that may distract your recruiter, and maybe put thoughts based on, what you're saying. So just keep it professional, stick to the job. I mean, you can definitely talk about some hobbies, that you've done, because we do want to make sure that you have that personality. But for me, an interview is a conversation. It's a conversation that goes both ways. So just make sure it's a conversation, but just keep it, like I said, professional, and just talk about things, your skills, things that how you can add, again, value to.
Yeah, I think it goes along. I did make another video that kind of emphasizes how critical I think it is that candidates understand what that profile looks like.
Mhm.
Because if you match some of those things and you're not
Yes.
bringing it up, especially
Yes.
for that question,
Yes.
it's a missed opportunity.
Yes. For
If, if,
sure.
if I have experience in financial services that are right on target and I don't mention it and I'm interviewing with you, that is a critical mistake.
Yes. And don't assume that the person that you're interviewing is really reviewing your resume. We do look over the resume, but we want to hear it from you. I mean, a resume is a snapshot of what you do, but it doesn't really tell the full picture. Anybody can put something on a resume. So when you're being interviewed, you might be in a behavioral type based interview. You may be in a situational type, interview. Behavioral based interviews I like to talk about, because that's really, we're looking to see examples of situations that you were in, to 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 give us those real life examples, because we want to see if it mirrors what skills we're looking for. So we're looking really at your competencies. And I always look at behavioral interviews as this. I always tell people, use what we call a STAR format. I think there's a lot of companies that use it. STAR stands for situation, tasks, actions, and results. If you keep the behavioral interview and be able to use this style, you should be okay. So basically, what we're asking you is, please give me an example of a situation that you're in. In this situation, tell us what you were tasked to do and what actions did you take to complete that task. and then tell us the results. If you keep to that format, it makes it very easy for you to think through your past examples. And then there are situational behavioral questions. Situational is similar to behavioral, but this is more like hypothesis. If you were in this situation and this occurred, what would you do? So those are the two. And most recruiters, myself, I would pretty much say, look, we're going to be doing behavioral interviews. So just keep that in mind. Try not to just do one answer question. Make sure you're giving a full example using that STAR method to keep you on track. And also try not to give 10 examples of a situation. So that STAR interview keeps you one example. And that way
Okay.
you kind of stick to a nice flow of the interview.
Okay, perfect. All right, with all fantastic advice. Thank you very much, Tara. Is there anything else that you want to convey to somebody who might be either early in their career or considering entering into a career in financial services?
Yeah, I think, early in your career, it's really hard to know what you really want to do. But I would say try different things. You're young enough to try different things. If you can volunteer to shadow someone, just to see if this is something, there are certain people that would probably say yes, depending on the role. But make sure that you just, again, do some research and talk to people. There's a lot of people on LinkedIn. If you don't have a LinkedIn account, it's really a great idea to have a LinkedIn account because you can meet other professionals in the business that you can connect with. And there's a lot of people on there that's willing to help and give you advice and talk to you. You just have to ask the right questions. So don't be afraid to use that resource. It's free. It's there for you. You can research companies. There are so many different ways that you can utilize LinkedIn in a professional way. And that also will get doors open because you might speak to the right manager and that right person may say, you know what, I think you'd be fit, let's talk. So it's not just about putting in resumes, but put yourself out there, go out there and talk to people. If there's a banking center in your area, go talk to a personal banker, go talk to a financial center manager. The people are willing to help and guide you. You just have to put yourself out there.
Okay, perfect. And for anybody who is interested, perhaps down in the description, I'll put a link to your LinkedIn profile and they can network with you directly.
Yeah, for sure.
As they should with a lot of people within
Yes.
financial services. I agree with you. Okay, well, I hope that was helpful for all of you that are interested in a career in financial services. As always, I ask that you share this video with your professional network. Please visit soaringme.com where there's some additional resources there for you. And good luck in your interview process.